The Battle of Delverwood is remembered in the history of World War I as an example of supreme sacrifice and heroism. It was among the first battles where South African soldiers fought. And as a result of the ferocious fighting, the South African Infantry Brigade lost more than 2,000 troops.
The brigade's participation started at Delville Wood, which was in the vicinity of the Somme battle. South African forces were ordered into the wood. The brigade was about 3,000 men strong. They were told to hold the wood at all costs. They fought against overwhelming German forces. They held the wood for 6 days, and on the 6th day, only 142 men emerged from the wood.
While the white soldiers fought the enemy in the front lines, their black counterparts worked as laborers, classified as the South African Native Labour Contingent. Some of their duties included tree felling, offloading ships, and digging trenches.
And they would have done quite a bit of battlefield clearance, which is not an easy job to do. That was clearing the battlefields of dead soldiers and badly wounded soldiers. Yeah.
But not everyone has been honored.
It is a very, very unfortunate part of our history that black soldiers of the First World War were not decorated. It was not the case in the Second World War. Many black soldiers received medals and decorations in the Second World War.
Another military disaster for South Africa during the war was the sinking of the 4,000-ton SS Mendi on the foggy morning of 21 February 1917. It was transporting more than 800 black troops of the South African Native Labour Contingent to France. The vessel was struck and almost cut in half by an empty meat ship, the SS Daro, which was headed for Argentina. 616 South Africans died in that disaster, as did 30 other crew members who were mostly British. Among those who died on the SS Mendi was Private Jim Jamangile, who came from the rural Transkei.
Jim Jamangile, according to the family, those who still remember our grandfathers, grandfathers, he is the brother of my grandfather, Makwai Jamangile.
Brigadier General Jamangile says he only learnt about this descendant of the family in April this year through a South African official who works with the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. He then approached the military archives in Johannesburg, where he discovered more information about Jim Jamangile.
Having gone to the archives, we really got the certificate of Jim Jamangile, who was originally from Mount Fletcher, from the village Ticha. His headman then, according to the certificate, was Mr. Zibi, who was the chief then. And the name of his father is also recorded there, Mnengele.
It's not known where the remains of Private Jim Jamangile ended up.
Whether Jamangile survived or not, to us, it is irrelevant. But all that is important to us is that Jim Jamangile, formed part of those heroes who were singing and praising and praying, led by Reverend Yoba, who told them that this is exactly what we came here for, and we are going to die. So we believe that he died honorably with the other members and volunteers of SS Mendi.
The policy of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission is that soldiers must be buried where they fell during war.
The majority would have gone down with the ship, and the laws of maritime law states that ship is a tomb on its own. So when people drown in a ship, they are entombed in that ship. There were many that were washed up along the beaches, both in the United Kingdom and in Europe, and they will be buried in cemeteries close to where they would have been found.
Every year, ceremonies are held across the country to remember South Africans who made the supreme sacrifice during wars and conflicts. February, in particular, is dedicated to soldiers who died on the SS Mendi while en route to France in 1917. An annual commemoration service is usually held here at the Avalon Cemetery in Soweto. Queen Elizabeth II unveiled the Mendi Memorial at this cemetery in 1995 to commemorate the victims of that disaster. And it's through monuments like this one where future generations will get to know about unsung heroes like Private Jim Jamangile. Johannesburg.
You deserve to know more.
enca.com